and welcome to SoCal Prep Report. I'm Randy Rosenbaum. Tarek from SB Live will join me momentarily. How'd you like that Thursday night NFL football game? Tampa falling in Atlanta in overtime, 36-30. Former Moore Park star, great wide receiver, Drake London, over 150 yards receiving and a touchdown. Great Thursday night game. And we're going to talk about a lot of great games tonight. We're going to talk Servite football as well. Chris Reinert, the head coach, he'll join us momentarily, along with his outstanding running back, Quaid Carr. Tarek, great to see you. Where's your coat?
Another week of high school. I just felt like just go with the shirt. Didn't need too much drapery. I don't know, that's the word that came to mind right
drapery?
there.
I like
yeah, I'm going to go with it. Why not?
Well, sounds good to me. What else sounds good to me is Mission Viejo football. The Diablos have a great football team. They're undefeated, one of the top teams in Southern California, and they got off to a really nice start and blew away Chaparral. I know you were there. It was an easy win. You could see the final score, 51-10.
Yeah, it was all Vance Spafford. He had 5 catches for 4 touchdowns, 186 yards in the first half. I believe the school record for receiving yards in a single game was 239, and man, he was close to that in the first half. And Chaparral just had no answer for him. They tried to put 2 guys on him. He would just run right by him. And so he's really, really talented junior. He actually gave me his top 5, but it's like Ole Miss, Georgia, Arizona State, Nebraska, and Washington are his 5 schools. So everyone wants a piece of this kid.
Well, Mission Viejo is very, very dangerous. We're going to talk a lot of Trinity League football tonight with the Servite guys, but Mission Viejo is a very dangerous team that could certainly win it all. Another interesting game was an intersectional with Calabasas getting by Birmingham. Birmingham still hasn't won a football game, but they're still highly regarded in the city section. Dominic Hardy, the sophomore quarterback, went off for the Coyotes.
Yeah, we talked about this game last week, and we thought maybe it'd be a chance for Birmingham to get in the win column. Listen, these city section teams, you always have to take their record with a grain of salt. They're all trying to play southern section schools and get ready for the city section gauntlet. And so Birmingham's trying to get prepared for the open division, and even though they've won it the last 3 years, they are not the team to beat in the city. It's going to be a team from the Marine League this year, so we'll see how that pans out.
But Birmingham could set the all-time record in the city section this week. They play Chatsworth. If they win, that'll be 43 straight victories against city competition. The old record is going to go down.
The Mules.
Wilson, the Mules, yeah. Ron Kusha was the quarterback when the Mules were winning a lot of football games. Long Beach Poly still wins a lot of football games. They're dominant in the Moore League. Lakewood is usually the team that gives them the most trouble, although Milliken's not bad this year. Yeah. But the Jackrabbits always dominate the league.
Yeah, again, this is a team that began 0-3, and we knew once the Moore League started, they would begin to roll. And, they've got 2 impact players waiting in the wings to get eligible. This Long Beach Poly team could end up being in like Division 3 or 4 with Madaniah Maleva and Jace Brown getting eligible, and then it's going to be tough to beat them. So it could be an interesting year for the Jackrabbits. Wouldn't be surprised if they made a lower division CIF final.
Here's another game that was interesting. Redondo gets a quarterback in by the name of Reinert. He really put on a show as they beat Banning 32-7. Cole Linehart's his name.
Yeah, he scored 3 touchdowns. This is a kid that just got eligible. Obviously, Matt Leinert's son. He was at Mater Dei, then he was at Newport Harbor, and he finds a home at Redondo Union. Little reverse kind of flea flicker kind of play here down the field for a touchdown. I mean, he throws a nice ball. Banning isn't exactly, again, in the city section, man, that's a team that might actually have a chance. But when you're taking on these southern section teams, the competition seems to get a little lopsided. So anyway, good to see him on the field. He's got 2 more years of high school football to play.
And he was accurate. He was 8 of 13 for over 150 yards with the 3 touchdowns. So a good start for Cole Linehart. All right, Gardena over Dominguez of Compton. Not a shock. This is a win for the city section. Gardena's undefeated. They have a great running back who's going to go to Air Force in Xavier Grant.
Yeah, you're not going to like this, but I do predictions for how leagues are going to finish every year, and I put Gardena last to finish in the Marine League. As good as they are, they basically have one guy, and I do think that those Marine League teams are good enough to key in on one player. So the Narbonnes, the San Pedros, even the Carsons, I think are going to probably end up finding a way to stop Xavier Grant. Doesn't take away from how good they are, but it speaks to how good the Marine League is.
Well, Gardena did well in the league last year in the Marine League, and they said the same thing. Gardena won some unexpected games.
They did.
I think they have a chance. They're certainly a very good football team, but you're right. The Marine League in the city is like the Trinity League.
Correct.
In the CIF Southern section. Speaking of the Trinity League, Servite High School, we're going to talk to a couple gentlemen from Servite in a moment. Over St. Paul, 33-14. Our guest, Quaid Carr, rushes for 2 touchdowns. Going to have to ask him also about his 97-yard kickoff return for a score.
Yeah, we'll have them on in here in just a moment. Servite, this is a team that's 5-0. Coach Chris Reinert they were 1-9. He comes in, they're 8-6, turns it around like that, and now they're 5-0, rolling into Trinity League play. They're clearly on the uptick and building. So, you can't be mad at what's going on over in Anaheim.
Chris Reinhardt's going to join us right now, the second-year head football coach of the Friars, along with his fine running back, Quaid Carr. Gentlemen, welcome to the program and congratulations on an undefeated start to the 2024 season.
Thank you for having us on. We really appreciate it.
All right, Coach, I know every team aspires to go unbeaten. Did you expect to be this strong in your second year and get out to a 5-0 record?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we had a really good offseason. Our players did a really good job digesting what we try and get accomplished. We played some good quality opponents, good coaching staff, good players. But we're exactly where we need to be and where we thought we would be positioned heading into the play.
Quaid, the Servite Friars, I think last year took everybody by surprise. Like I said, the year before you're 1-9, and then out of nowhere you win 8 games. You get to the the Division II CIF final. So no surprises this year. Everyone's thinking, okay, Servite's way better. Yet you have to play your best game. How do you measure yourself against being a surprise team and now having expectation to perform this year?
Well, it's like any game we go into, you gotta always find yourself like the underdog. That's how it's supposed to be. This year we've been doing a lot of hard work, scheming down the plays during the games and before the game, and the team's just ready. We don't want to lose more. We want to go D1. We want to go D1 playoffs, and really show people that we can compete with people high level teams and just not serve like that's gonna get whooped on. We're not gonna let that happen. We're gonna go and fight to the bitter end.
Coach, I had an opportunity to talk to Jason Negro, the head coach at St. John Bosco, and I said you wanted to catch up to Mater Dei when you first started, and now you're parallel your programs, Mater Dei and St. John Bosco. And I said, has the rest of the Trinity League caught up? And he says, yes, it's getting closer to that. Do you believe that the rest of the league now has caught up to St. John Bosco and Mater Dei?
That's a tough question. I think they certainly laid a model that hey, if you're in this league and you're going to beat those guys, you're going to play, you sit there and knock the top dogs off. Like nobody's playing for third place. You go out there and you expect to win, you expect to compete, and you play to be the top dog. So they've obviously over the course of the last 10, 15 years had a ton of success. They changed the way this thing operates, and it's up to everybody else to match the greatness that they've created. So that's the plan for us.
Quaid, for those watching, explain your game. What kind of tailback are you?
That's a good question. I'm a downhill, elusive running back. Some people say I don't like to hit a lot, but I love getting hit. I love hitting. When the time comes, I will juke someone if I have to. But kind of running back, I'm a 4-down running back. You can use me for sweep. You can be downhill. You can use me for catching. I got a lot of better with catching this past couple years. So I just think I'm a running back, and my blocking is just phenomenal.
Quick follow-up. Which players do you like to watch on Saturdays or probably more preferably Sundays? Which guys do you like to model your game after, if so?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say Derek Henry a lot would be the overall guy I watched. Watching him at Bama and just watching him on the Ravens now and the past team he's been on. He's a phenomenal running back. He's like 6'3", 6'4", 200-something pounds, and that guy can literally do everything, and he's hard to tackle.
Coach, I don't want you to go on for 15 or 20 minutes because I think you could go on that long talking about some of the great names that you've coached with, but maybe throw out a few names for our viewers to get a feel for your background, because you've had a great opportunity to work with a bastion of great coaches.
I'll give you this. I've been very, very blessed. The head coaches I've worked for, Rick Neuheisel, Jim Mora, Mike Leach, Jim Mora again, Rick Neuheisel again, Carl Durrell, Mike Sanford, Jed Dish. I've been on staff with Marvin Lewis and Antonio Pierce. I've been very, very blessed. My football team to be around great minds who have been fantastic coaches. Have a lot of success. Reinert as well.
Coach, I know we can't let you go without talking about SoFi Stadium. That's October 18th, St. John Bosco. I know you want a small time to pump that bad boy. I've talked to you about it before. Why should people get to SoFi Stadium on October 18th?
Economics. You can't go to SoFi Stadium and do a professional football game for less than $200 a ticket. You can come out and watch a great football game between two great football programs with some athletes on both sides, probably in 4 or 5 years playing in SoFi Stadium professionals. $40 a ticket can get you a ticket, so you can take your family on for under $200, and then you've got the opportunity to experience SoFi Stadium and a great Friday night and a great football game as well.
Quaid, Carr, I know you are going to go to San Diego State. Why the choice, and what makes you excited to be an Aztec?
The choice, I mean, overall, San Diego State has been a good team over the past years. The choice is because they kept in touch with me. Ever since they offered me, they really communicated with me and communicated with my family, my coaches, and they call me and text me every day, asking how I'm doing, make sure I'm in the right mentality, sure that the family's doing okay. And while the XX I feel like will be the best school for me, it's not far away from home, so I'll be sick. And I have a bunch of family out there, and my supporters just cheering on.
Can't go wrong going to San Diego. The weather's gorgeous. Coach, last question. Getting to coach in the Trinity League. Obviously, you're a Servite guy. That's where it all started for you. How exciting is it? I know it's one game at a time because they're all good, but to coach in the Trinity League has to be a blast.
I mean, you prep all year for the month of October. It's high-level football each and every week. You got your work cut out for you. This is what we prepare for. We've got our hands full with a great team Friday night. Jay Sarah is really good. They got really talented players on both sides of the ball. They present a lot of difficulties, and we've got to work it out for us. But that's what you want. If you want to be the greatest, and you want to challenge yourself to be the best in your craft, the best in what you're doing, you got to go compete against that. And that's really what we're here for. We're here to put our kids on the stage that hey, you want to be about this. Football's important for you, and you have high ambitions. This is the place to be. So we want ambitious people that want to go out there and compete against the best and see where you're at.
Coach, we appreciate the time. I love your backdrop. I think you're in the garage because the kids went to sleep early, right?
We were in the process of putting the kids to bed, so I got sent to the garage.
Okay, well, I've been sent out of the house a lot of times. Quaid, good luck. Not only the rest of the year in the Trinity League and into the playoffs. Best of luck at San Diego State as well. Guys, good luck tomorrow night against Jay Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you guys having us on.
You got it. I know you like Chris Reinert.
Yeah, man. Good dude. And I think as a media member, you're supposed to be objective and you're supposed to, you know, of course, but it's like you run into a good dude, you run into a good coach, one that you get along with, and you just build a rapport. And so I don't know how long I'll be doing this. I don't know how long he'll be at Servite, but for as long as we're both around, I anticipate a good relationship there.
Well, with the contacts he has, I get the feeling he's going to move up the
Yeah,
coaching
you know,
ladder
if that's
pretty
something
quick.
he wants to do, he'll probably do that. But you know what? Not to get on a tangent, but high school football allows you to be around your family. And I know in college, it's a grind, man. So he's probably right where he wants to be.
Top performances in high school football from last week. This is always fun. But this first one, David Sandy, are you kidding me? 408 yards and 5 touchdowns on offense, plus a pick and a big win for Jordan over Fremont.
David Sandy, yeah, all-city returner, one of the top 10, I don't know if you want to call him a prospect, but certainly a top 10 player in all of the city is David Sandy.
How about Wyatt Lucas? Wyatt Lucas is another guy we just saw on that chart. He had a big game running the football, a school record over 350 yards, 352 to be exact, for Corona Del Mar in a win over Tribuca Hills.
I'm pretty sure they needed every yard too. I think it was a tight game. Might have even been an overtime game. I'm not. Do you have the score?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that game was tight. Like they needed every ounce of his performance to get the victory.
I put this one up there for you. His numbers weren't necessarily sensational last week, but Shane Rosenthal becomes the #1 receiver all time in Ventura County.
Yeah, pretty remarkable. I wouldn't call it a debate. Someone asked me on Twitter this week, hey, is there a better duo than Brady Smigel and Shane Rosenthal? And we talked like Fafita, Tet McMillan. There's a couple other ones, but man, that's going to be up there for one of the better tandems in high school football, throwing touchdowns. That's pretty special.
Let's turn our attention to defensive performances. Jake Silverman, what do you have, 14 tackles for Torrance? I mean, he was all over the field, and he played some offense, caught 3 passes for 97 yards.
Yeah, really, really standout player. And then, of course, we got down at the bottom Jaden Williams, who I saw have four sacks against Chaparral. I believe he's one of the country's leading sack getters at 17.5 right now. Probably a standout, and maybe a little tease on this, one of the Defensive Player of the Year candidates for SB Live.
And we're going to talk about some of those other candidates in a little bit. Let's talk about SB Live's top 10 in the southern section. And I think it's identical, really, to last
everyone
week.
was on a bye, you know.
Yeah.
So this is yes. So you're right. Only 3 of the top 10 teams were in action last week, Randy, and they all won. So yeah, I mean these rankings have been the same for the past 2 weeks, simply because the bye of last week, everyone's getting ready for league play. But be ready for all that to move here in October, because basically they all play each other in league.
Yeah, you got 4 of the top 5 schools from the Trinity League, and obviously they're going to play starting tomorrow night. All right, next we want to talk about SB Live's City Top 10. One change down at the bottom. King Drew out, Garfield in.
Yeah, I got Garfield in there. They got thumped by San Pedro. I saw that and in person was not flattered. But
You're talking King Drew.
No, I
saw Garfield earlier.
Correct. I saw San Pedro thump on Garfield. This is like 2-3 weeks ago.
Sure.
And thought, uh-oh, that's not good. And then, hey, they bounced back and won 2 in a row, so I felt they deserved to get back in the top 10. And I think I've said this for a couple weeks. For me, the sleeper, now I'm not saying they're going to go win the whole thing, but the sleeper to watch out for is Palisades. They're going to win the Western League, and they're going to probably get a home game in the Open Division playoffs. And then we'll see where the chips may fall. But to me, the Dolphins are the team that could knock someone off and maybe get to the CIF final or something.
Right now, I feel like the top team is San Pedro, but they were at that point last year, and I thought they were the best team. And they kind of slowed down a little bit at the end of the year, and Birmingham got them and everyone else in the playoffs. But I think San Pedro is the best team right now, but we still have a long way to go. We're only midway through this season. All right, how about the Big Bear Bears? This is a football team that put up a lot of yards last week and a lot of points. 76-35 over Whittier Christian. They set the all-time state record of 761 yards rushing. Tarek, I think they had 3 guys close to 200 yards rushing. 3 guys.
Yeah, that's remarkable. Talk about it. That's like a video game type performance. That's I don't even. That's all I got to say about that.
They run the triple
It's
option
like that's
and
781, 61 yards.
761.
Jeez, man. Yeah,
The old record was like 730, 735.
That's unbelievable. I would love to see some footage. Maybe it's on NFHS.
Well, I was talking to their coach Griffiths, and he said to me,
You called him?
yeah, I was going to have him on the show. And the reason he's not on the show tonight, and he would have come
They got
on.
a game?
They have a game tomorrow, but they have fires there. So he has a lot to deal with. He wanted to come.
Everyone's
We may get him on next week. Great guy.
That would be great. I'd love to chat with him. That'd be great.
Yeah, he's a good dude. In fact, we had chatted with him a couple of years ago when Big Bear won the title.
Okay.
We talked to him at a press
Did we?
conference.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't remember that. He brought it up.
Okay.
Okay, so congratulations to Big Bear. Not only the win, but 761
cool.
yards on the ground. All right, Tarek's potential players of the year and all that good stuff. He broke it down with first player of the year offensively. So give us a couple names on who you think's going to be the POY.
Yeah, I put Vance Spafford up there just because of all the numbers that he's got going. I put Oak Hill's Carson Cox up there. Those are some names. I put Hassan Longstreet from Centennial, kind of a usual suspect on offense. These are names, kind of a mid-season report, and I believe that they can either make it or break themselves depending on what they do in league play because it's so important. So really, really good players on the offensive side.
And Longstreet starting to get back into form. He was injured early in the year. In the last 2 or 3 games, he's played really well for Corona Centennial. All right, your top defensive players.
Yeah, Madden Reardon's one that pops out to me. He leads the section in interceptions. He goes to Sierra Canyon. He's a junior going to USC. He's got 7 interceptions and 2 pick sixes. I mean, talk about changing the game on flipping it on its head in one play. Madden Reardon does that. Jaden Williams from Mission Viejo, 17.5 sacks. That's a big deal. And I think there's one, Noah McHale from Bonita is a linebacker going to Texas A&M right now. He's got all kinds of tackles and is really, really good. So another impact player on the defensive side.
You also had a category breakout player of the year?
Breakout player of the year, and I think the front runner, it's going to be, I'm not even going to say it. If he keeps playing the way he is, he will be our breakout player of the year, and that's Ryan Hopkins, the Jay Sarah quarterback, who literally came out of nowhere and has them rolling right now.
What about my guy, Oscar Rios?
Yeah, Oscar Rios is absolutely a breakout player of the year candidate, throwing all kinds of touchdowns. He just decommitted from Purdue. I don't know if you noticed that, but he's not going to he's not going to be a Boilermaker anymore. So yes, Downey High School, and yeah, another great name to mention.
And your freshman player of the year.
Yeah, there's one, Darren Stubbs at St. John Bosco is one to watch, and there's a couple other ones that I can't think off the top of my head, but Stubbs is one from St. John Bosco that could be a front runner for that award.
They had a great flag football game this week, 2 of the top teams in the country. In fact, Orange Lutheran's ranked #1 in the country, and they got by Santa Margarita 20-13. This featured 2 great quarterbacks, McKenna Cook from Olu and Maddie Lamb, who's so good for Santa Margarita.
Yeah, again, I bring up pretty much the same thing every time we talk about girls flag football, and that's if the NCAA decides that they want to go to women's flag football and it becomes a scholarship sport, these are 2 young ladies that would be ideal for that space. So McKenna Cook's only a sophomore, so she could see it. I'm just, maybe not as a freshman in college, but if they bring it on 4 years from now, she'll still be in college. Maybe she goes and plays. She's a standout soccer player, so I know she'll be a soccer player in college.
We're going to talk about a volleyball match with really 2 teams that are going separate directions. Sierra Canyon's one of the best teams in California,
Yep.
and they played Campbell Hall. But what made it special, and Sierra Canyon won it 3-0, this was played on Campbell Hall's football field. It was homecoming. There was a big Ferris wheel.
Yep, festival.
That's the first time that they've had an outdoor volleyball match.
Yeah, it was a spectacle. I wasn't there, but we had a photographer there. There you go. Look at that setting. I mean, they really did it up. I mean, they put out the bleachers. There was a good turnout there. Like you mentioned, it was kind of a homecoming festival type vibe. And from what we understand, it's the first of its kind in regard to a indoor girls volleyball game being played outside. And you know what's cool? Under the lights. You could do it in the daytime. They did it in the nighttime under the lights. Pretty neat.
I don't know if you want to play outside in the day in the valley. Still a little warm.
Yeah, it's 100 degrees right now in October, for gosh sakes.
All right, some big games will be played tomorrow night, and there's some doozies with the leagues starting. We'll start in the Trinity League, and we'll get some quick responses from Tarek.
Sure.
Olu and St. John Bosco.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. Good test for St. John Bosco because they got a lot of young players, and a lot of them, this will be their first game in the Trinity League. As good as they are, I expect maybe even a little bit of a slow start for St. John Bosco, and Olu might jump on them. but I think St. John Bosco will win.
Cal Preps has this very close, and St. John Bosco winning by just a couple points.
Yeah.
Servite at J. Sarah. Of course, we talked to the Servite coach, Chris Reinert, and they're playing to win. You saw they had to win over St. Paul last week. Now they have another tough game. It won't be easy as they play at J. Sarah.
Yeah, Servite J. Sarah. I know we're looking at Olu, St. John Bosco. But yeah, Servite J. Sarah will be a good one. They're both unbeaten, and again, I think it's Ryan Hopkins is the player to watch for J. Sarah. Again, potential breakout player of the year.
Okay, and we got Luzinger and Inglewood playing at El Camino College. Both those teams are undefeated.
Yeah, again, really, this is a Luzinger team that just knocked off Santa Margarita 14-13 and is on a warpath. So that's a team that could play themselves up into Division II if they're not careful. But this game will indicate who wins the league title for me. It's going to be between Inglewood and Luzinger.
These are great matchups.
They are.
Banning and Narbonne in the city section in the Marine League is another beauty.
Yeah, for me, Narbonne's the number one team in the city. They have been all year. And when you look at who they've played in the southern section, they're 3-0 this year against city section teams, Randy, or Narbonne. So, and they were all blowouts. When they've played southern section teams, well, they beat Cathedral, really good win. And then the other games, okay, they lost to Los Alamitos, but Los Alamitos is like a juggernaut in the Orange County. So there's just nothing that any city section team is going to possess that Narbonne hasn't already seen. And I think that's going to bode well for them.
San Pedro at Carson, I obviously like San Pedro. Any team that has a quarterback by the name of Geronimo, you got to love. And San Pedro's quarterback is Geronimo. At Carson, always dangerous. Colts always have a solid program. Christensen does a nice job with the Colts.
Yeah, this will be an interesting game. I kind of like this. I'm not predicting, although I do think San Pedro will finish second in the league. I think Narbonne's going to win the league. But this is one of those games where Carson is in a nice spot because they're kind of the underdog, aren't they, Randy, in that game?
Yeah.
So I like that they can kind of feed on that. And Christensen just knows he's just a tough guy. And it's just going to be a tough out. So I would not be surprised if Carson knocked them off, though we'd both like San Pedro, I would say.
Well, again, like the Trinity League in the southern section in the city, these Marine League schools, all of them can beat the other team. There's no guaranteed W's when you go out and play in the Marine League. Last game we want to talk about is Long Beach Poly, Mission Viejo at SoFi Stadium. Yeah,
this game's not going to be close. I hate to say it. Unless the two kids get eligible, Ayamaleva and Jace Brown, which still I don't think will bridge a gap all too well, to be honest with you, Randy. So great environment, cool, fun matchup. Mission Viejo by 3 or 4 scores.
Tomorrow night, right here, live on your television set, Taft plays El Camino Real in the 101 Classic. Live on 36. Kickoff's going to be at 7:15. Here's the touchdown pass that won it in the final 15 seconds last year for ECR. 37-32 last year. What's your take?
Look at us. Little B-roll for them. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. That's a tough one to pick, but I will go with you think ECR is going to win.
I do.
All right, you know what, Randy? Give me ECR.
Oh, you're going with my
I'm
pick.
going with you. I'm going with you on it. You see, I think you have watched the most ECR games this year.
I think I'm the only one that's watched ECR football. They are 1-4. They got to win over Diamond League. Hey, Taft's 2-3. They're both coming off of victories. I do like Acevedo, the quarterback at El Camino.
What'd you call it? The 101. What'd you call
Classic.
it? The 101 Classic. Is that? Are you just making that up, or has it always been called that?
No, they deemed that last year. And they're passing the trophy back.
Okay, so it's kind of like the Jeweled Shillelagh or something between SC and Notre Dame, or like the bell, the victory bell,
yeah,
like that kind of thing.
I wouldn't put it at that level, but it is the 101
They're
Classic.
playing for something.
And you're going to see Alabama this weekend. I mean, you're moving up.
Yeah, so I'll have my bye week for weeks. My buddies and I do a trip every year, and this year we're going to Nashville, and we're going to see Vanderbilt play Alabama on Saturday, 3:30 kick in Nashville. It's going to be fun. And, hey, Bama's the #1 team in the country, so it should be cool. We got tickets in the 5th row from the field.
And it won't be close, and Jalen Milroe will probably score 5 touchdowns.
Hey, it'll be fun to watch him up close.
That receiver Williams, the freshman.
Ryan Williams.
Oh, he can
dynamic.
Play. He can play.
Dynamic.
All right, so enjoy your trip to Nashville.
Thank you.
Enjoy our game tomorrow night, again, right here at 7 o'clock. Again, kickoff at 7:15 with Taft at El Camino Real. For Tarek and our entire LA 36 team, I'm Randy Rosenblum. We'll see you next week right here on SoCal Prep Report.
Camera 2, camera 2.
Crimson Tide you're going to see.
Alabama.